Hi there. Welcome to Silhouettes JV podcast. It is only me, only Gia. I am missing my other half, Daveed. But because we are completing our unintended solo series of dissecting Jersey Boys scenes for you and with you. So just so everyone knows, I was in Virginia when Daveed did his solo episode, and it was the only way we could have gotten an episode out on time for you all. And so we want to just keep it going, and I'm going to do a solo episode for you as well. But everything is beautiful with Daveed and me. There is no need to worry if that was on your mind at all. We just moved into our first apartment together. Life has been honestly pretty intense, but everything is good, and we're settling into summer, into our Bob Gaudio season. So I would love to tell you a little bit about the past few months. Well, also just to kind of recap everything. So we are in June 2024, and 4 years ago, Daveed and I had the idea to start this podcast, and now we are starting. Well, we're in season 3. We started season 3 in February, and life took a turn after we started season 3. But let me tell you about the amazing Jersey Boys related events that happened. So on March 22nd, Daveed and I got to meet Frankie Valli at Radio City Music Hall. We never thought we would meet him. We really didn't. Like we always dreamed about it and we hoped it would happen. We weren't really like, it was okay. We were like, however it's gonna work out, it's gonna work out. And thanks to our amazing dear friend Pam Singer, she invited us to go with her to the concert. And we went with our other dear friend Wanda Libardi. They are the Jersey Boys elders, and we're gonna have them on the podcast so you can hear all of their incredible stories. But we got to go to the show. And Pam is friends with Toni Valli, one of Frankie Valli's daughters, and they were texting, and Toni had us come up and go backstage, and it was just unreal. And we got to talk to Frankie a little bit, shake his hand, and just be in his presence and let him know how much he means to us. And that was just the coolest night. It really was. That was like, that's why you moved to New York, and for Daveed and I, like being from Florida, we always dreamed of those nights, and it got to happen. So we pulled that night very dear. And a little after that, maybe before that, was sometime earlier this year, Aaron DeJesus, you all know the amazing Aaron, who played Frankie Valli at New World Stages. He asked Daveed and I to do the dramaturgy packet for his production that he's directing of Jersey Boys at Tuacahn in Utah. It's a huge regional production. It's going to be a massive stage, a lot of surprises that he told us about. And for any theater person, you know that being a dramaturgist really is the highest honor in theater. And Daveed and I worked on the packet. Honestly, though, Daveed really should take most of the credit for it. He did so much of it because I was going through a lot of things, and but that's out, and he has it, and the cast has it, and we hope that that is useful and they're enjoying it. And the third thing is that I got to see Frankie Valli get his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So get this. Now, Daveed and I are part of a sketch comedy show called Bragging Rights, which is, I am so thankful for, because I came to New York really to do sketch comedy. And I'm so thankful I've been part of the show since summer 2021. And I've gotten to be off Broadway twice with the show and been to LA 3 times. And on this third time, it was the same timing as Frankie Valli getting the star on the Walk of Fame. It was on May 3rd, which of course was on Frankie Valli's birthday, but not just his birthday, his 90th birthday, gonna be on the road till you're 90, and he was there, and I got to be there, and it was so much fun. I wish Daveed was there. It definitely was not the same without him. But it was really special, and I'm so glad that we got to get some videos and pictures for you all to see. It was a really special day. And then after that, I had my first show of the weekend, and then the next day. So it was just a wild weekend. Now, I want to give some shout outs to people that we met at the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So the first was our friend Amanda Shake. We love Amanda. She's also a huge Jersey Boys fan. Definitely give her a follow. And we met George Perez. So George Perez he has an awesome YouTube channel. You have to check it out. It's called Music for all 4 seasons. So 4 as the number. And it's a treasure trove of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons clips and information. So definitely check that out. We love George. And I also met an amazing musician named Shane Aguilera. He has worked with so many prominent musicians, and he got to come, and it was really fun to meet him. Yuki, everyone knows Yuki Sumi, right? So Yuki is, we're pretty sure that she has seen Jersey Boys more than anyone in the world. We're pretty sure. As of June 3rd, a week ago, I'm recording this on Monday, June 10th. This is on June 3rd. She saw the show 120 times. Different productions, of course, 120 times. Can you imagine? That's unbelievable. We also made a new friend in Sam Williams. He has a podcast called the 60s Millennial Throwback Machine. So check out his podcast. It's in the same vein as ours. And we also saw The Modern Gentleman, Robbie Robinson, of course, Frankie Valli's music director, and Noah Rivera and Taubert Natalini, who were in Jersey Boys at La Mirada in California at the same time as the ceremony. And that was LA. Now, so what happened in between all of the festivities, about a week before the star, I lost my beloved Nana. She died at 94 years old the Saturday prior, and it was just nuts. Like, she passed away. I helped pack up her stuff, pick out her casket, and all the things like that. And then she had her wake. This is how special she was. Okay, she had a New York wake, and then she had a Florida wake and burial, and she was buried with my grandpa in Florida. It was just like, I'm still honestly, I'm still trying to process it. But Daveed was my rock, and I owe him so much. And with the dramaturgy packet, we had to get that in. And honestly, he really should take most of the credit for it. He did so much of it while I was traveling and just going through everything. And I owe him so much. And that really goes with the kind of the theme and the scene that I wanted to dive into with you today. Because I really feel like I'm in my Frankie season right now. A little bit, because so in winter, as Frankie loses Francine, I lost my Nana, and life is just kind of pushing you to new things. But the reality is everything is great right now. Like, we got a new apartment. We moved a lot quicker than we were expecting. We had to move in a week. It was a whole story. So that happened, and I was in the thick of my new job that I just started. Daveed just got a promotion. He just did bragging rights about a week and a half ago, and things are good, and we feel so fulfilled creatively, and especially with the podcast. So that's why we really want to see these solos through, and then if you like them, we can do more for you too. And of course, get back to our roster of interviews that we want to have for you too. So with that being said, the scene that I am choosing is the finale of the show with Frankie's last monologue before Who Loves You. Now, before everything started, and before we even started season 3 of Silhouettes, my theme for the year, or like the phrase that came to mind, was close to the chest. I feel like the older I get, I really just want to keep everything here and as close to my heart as possible. Because, as we go through the highs and lows of life, and as Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons were going through, their highs and lows of fame, which honestly, the human psyche, there's a huge part of it that makes everyone, a lot of people will deny this. I think everyone low-key wants to be famous. People say they don't. And I believe them, but I do think there's part of them that's like, oh wow, if I made it to this level, how would I react? Everyone remembers it how they need to, right? And you sell 1 million records, see how you handle it. And it's like, everyone, I feel like, at least for me, maybe I'm projecting, I wonder how I would react. So I really wanted to dive into that and the consequences of fame, or just getting older, and the people changing and making decisions that drive everything in our lives. So let's dive in. Oh, okay. I'm going to stop there because having can't take be the underscore, of course, is, I would say, expected, right? Because that's Frankie's biggest song. But just the sadness and the bitter, it's really the bittersweetness of the score underneath is just like, you know, you're about to cry and you know the show's about to end.
I never made it to Tommy's party. I got up to the door a few times, but couldn't go in. I don't know why.
I didn't go to Tommy's party. I just couldn't go in, right? It's so in my life, just for me, I feel like I've experienced, and I've been part of other people's experiences where, you know, we know not what we do. And let's just talk about all 4 seasons. You know, Bob, at least the character of Bob Gaudio in the show is, you know, he did everything with a purpose. Like, Bob is kind of set. He's ready to go. But Frankie, Nick, and Tommy all had their moments of like, why did you do this? You know, so, you know, Frankie would say about Tommy, you know, he couldn't help himself. You know, that's why he was acting out and doing all these horrible things. Because, you know, he knew not what he did. And then Nick, when he left the group, it just came out of my mouth, right? It just, I don't know, but it set off the course the rest of his life and for the band's life. And then Frankie right here is like, I just couldn't go in. I don't know why, but I couldn't do it. And I think it shows that maybe, you know, it's God and like our bodies just telling us to do something or not to do something. I feel like we're always in kind of we're always in a self-preservation or a protection mode. And maybe that's what happened here. And I wonder if this actually happened in real life. You know, of course, I would think after the Hall of Fame, there would be a party, classic, but I wonder if this actually happened.
Maybe Nikki looked at me funny like I was acting too special or something. But Nick in that mind of his, who knows?
I don't know if I want to believe that, you know, Nick was too special or something. I don't think, at least how I read Nick in the show, I don't think he would have been like that. I wonder if his mind is just spiraling at this moment.
And now he's gone. God rest him. He died Christmas Eve, 2000. I mean, for a Catholic, is that style or what?
Okay, let's go back. He holds that. Oh my God, the it's just so, Aaron, you is so good. Okay, let's watch that again, and let's count how long that lasted. When he leans in and he just lets it run, you know. Okay. Now, also, when you say Christmas Eve 2000, as the audience member, you know he's going to comment on something Christmas, but you don't know exactly what he's going to say.
I mean,
that pause there, come
on. For a Catholic, is that style or what?
he's flabbergasted. He's just like, wow, man. It's so funny. Okay, and let's count this. Okay, stop watch.
And now he's gone. God rest him. He died Christmas Eve, 2000. I mean, for a Catholic, is that style or what?
14 seconds, a 14-second pause. Come on. And also, let's talk about the word style, right? Now, this is, of course, hat tip to Rick and Marshall. You know, there's so many words you could say to describe something like that. You know, in everyday conversation, you would probably be like, you know, oh yeah, he died on Christmas Eve, 2000. No, isn't that ironic? Or isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that nuts? Isn't that whatever? You know, is it meant to be? But style. And I feel like using the word style, to me, that shows like that his mind is back in the old neighborhood, it's in Belleville, because that's how you would talk about your elders or anyone who passed away. It's how you would respect the dead. You would use a word like that, a word like style, and it shows kind of an Italian pride, maybe a Catholic pride, and that's the stuff that matters to someone, and it's like how you leave, right? And yeah, so style was, I think, the cherry on top to give Nick the homage that he deserved.
They asked you, what was the high point? The Hall of Fame? Selling all those records? Pulling Sherry out of the hat? It was all great.
All of those milestones.
But 4 guys under a street lamp when it was all still ahead of us. The first time we made that sound, our sound, and everything dropped away and all there was the music. That was the best.
That's what everyone waits for, right? It's that monologue. And so Hall of Fame, so all those records, pulling Sherry out of the hat, all of those milestones. But the truth is, and I'm learning this as I get older, milestones don't hit. But because when you hit a milestone, like, okay, great. Well, I better have freaking gotten that milestone. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's the next one? Here we go. Like, let's keep moving, right? You kind of have to think that way in order to keep your relevance and to keep gaining that success, or at least maintaining something, right, in this world. And that's not what mattered to him. It was the simplicity. He's trying to get back home. He's chasing that feeling that night. And maybe, when it was all ahead of us, thinking that maybe if they had a chance differently, maybe if they had another chance or another go, they would do things different. I can't help but think that.
That's why I'm still.
And Aaron says, he goes, that was the best. He puts the emphasis on that. It's interesting. It's a really great choice.
That's why I'm still out there singing. Like that bunny on TV with the battery, I just keep going and going.
And back to the bunny on TV, that was probably, I wonder if in Rick and Marshall's mind, if they thought that was like low-hanging fruit, like maybe like if Frankie's telling this story, right? He's let's say he's telling us this, of course on stage, but but like maybe we're supposed to be, this is not, I don't think this is the case, but let's just say everyone who's telling us the story, right? Maybe they're telling it to us in a bar or at someone's house and the TV is on, right? Or let's say like it's a football game and someone's telling their life story and that commercial comes on, like the Energizer Bunny commercial. I just think that's so funny. And it's that's the first thing that you think of is that doing the comparison. It's a classic.
Chasing the music, trying to get home.
That spin just does it for me. I also want to show you that moment in the Jersey Boys Tony Award performance with John Lloyd Young. Now, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. Every single morning, my junior year and senior year of high school, I would wake up and watch the Tony Award performance. And then I would watch the Annie Hall opening scene and the Manhattan opening scene, both Woody Allen movies, and of course with Marcia Brickman, right? Not even realizing at the time that they were all connected, writing wise. And even when we think about the podcast, right? Because it's like, we love doing the podcast, but we have to go back and remember, like, of course we know our why, but sometimes we have to just go back and go back to when we first loved the show and we're obsessed with it and get that spark and that innocent feeling back. And every time I go back and watch that Jersey Boys Tony performance, I go right back to why I love it and why the show really keeps me in check, because it's about it's about these friends and how life gets crazy, and as life goes on, you really like you realize like what those moments are, but you also realize what those shows are. And that's why Jersey Boys will always be our favorite.
You're just too good to be true. They ask you, what was the high point?
Now, of course, it jumps from Can't Take just to the end of this moment with Frankie before Who Loves You, which I didn't totally remember because at that point I only saw the show one time on the national tour and it just kind of jumped to this. So just keeping that in mind too, in case you haven't seen the show in a while and you're forgetting where it is. That's what happened.
The Hall of Fame, selling all those records, pulling Sherry out of the hat. It was all great. But the first time the four of us made that sound, our sound, when everything dropped away and all there was the music, that was the best. That's why I'm still out there singing. Like that bunny on TV with the battery, I just keep going and going and going. Chasing the music, trying to get home.
That drum, oh, it's so good.
Who loves you, pretty baby?
And the way the mics were for that performance, like the reverb and the echo, it just, all of Radio City, right? And how full circle is that we're watching this at Radio City and we met Frankie Valli at Radio City. It was just the coolest.
Who loves you, pretty mama? Who's always there to make it right? Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna help you through the night? Who loves you, pretty mama? Who's always there to make it right?
This feels 2006, right? Like, don't you miss it? And you feel like you can never get those early 2000s years back because of how much has happened in the world. Like it just reminds you that this happened, you know, and like that was a huge year for all of these wonderful people on stage.
Who loves you? Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna love you, mama? Who loves you? Who loves you, pretty baby? When tears are in your eyes and you can't find a way, it's hard to make believe you're happy when you're gray. Baby, when you're feeling like you never say the morning light, you come to me, baby. You see
Who loves you, pretty baby? Who's gonna help you through the night? Who loves you, pretty mama? Who's always there to make it? Who loves you?
who loves you, pretty baby. Who's gonna love you, mama? Who loves you, pretty baby?
That is my look at those very small moments, or those very short, like a very short part of Jersey Boys, but very significant to me, and I'm sure to all of us. But we have a few announcements. In case you haven't heard, Christian Hoff, who won the Tony for playing Tommy DeVito in Jersey Boys, he and his daughter Ella are suffering from cancer right now, and there is a GoFundMe. If you are so able, please donate. For sure, it would mean so much to him and his family. And please send all of your prayers. Christian, we are sending all of our prayers to you every day. So please, we'll put the link in there and donate if you can. And next week, in later news, on June 20th, that is the 10-year anniversary of the Jersey Boys movie release. Isn't that insane? 10 years, 10 years. That's mind-boggling to me. So please celebrate however you want to. Watch the movie, tag us, do all the things. And we also have a really exciting announcement coming to you soon. So please keep a lookout on our Instagram and Facebook because there is something coming in the fall that you do not want to miss. And I will leave it there. But thank you so much for joining me with this episode, and we can't wait to see you soon. A salud. There we go. Bye.